Coming up, the Ministry of Health giving the latest on the COVID-19 pandemic. A sibling of a COVID-19 victim speaking out. And hear how shopping just got easier during this 24-hour lockdown. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Shashina Wolf-Arkeson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, a complete shutdown. That's the order given by the nation's chief during a press conference late this afternoon. For weeks, Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, has pleaded with the Bahamian public to stay at home. Well, as this global pandemic has reached our shores, our numbers continue to climb, and the coronavirus has already claimed the lives of 3 residents. Now, this new order has been put in place until Monday at 5 a.m. in hopes of driving home the seriousness of this killer virus.
Whatever must be done will be done, and it may be painful, but it will save lives.
And with that, the nation's chief made it clear that the country will move to a complete shutdown as of 8 o'clock tonight.
The government decided, based on the advice of health officials, that effective 8 p.m. tonight, Friday, the 3rd of April, a complete shutdown of all services will be implemented until Monday, the 6th of April at 5 a.m.
This comes with very few exceptions.
Hospitals, that is Doctors Hospital and Princess Margaret Hospital. Hotels with guests. The Royal Bahamas Police Force. The Royal Bahamas Defense Force. OPAT operations. Security companies. And essential workers for the functioning of BPL and water and sewage corporations. Let me also note that the ferries which operate between our islands and keys are also restricted from operating during this period.
The nation's chief contends that while it was a difficult decision, it had to be done. And once again, he made this plea.
I want you to live. I want all Bahamians to live. I want our society to continue. This virus can harm and it can kill. In the United States, 100 to 250,000 people are expected to die. This virus will not discriminate. I will provide a further update when the House of Assembly meets on Monday at 10 a.m. on the 6th of April. Then I will give you the way forward.
Now, during that press conference, the Minister of Health also updating the country on the recent cases of COVID-19 and related deaths in the country. Our Megan Shepard picks up that story.
The Minister of Health, the Honorable Dr. Dwayne Sands, confirming that the country has now recorded 3 COVID-19 related deaths and 24 confirmed cases. He also noted that some 281 COVID RT-P tests have been performed. He further explained the latest conditions of those confirmed patients.
The deceased patients included a 67-year-old female and a 79-year-old male. Investigations are being conducted into the details surrounding the cases. Contact tracing continues. To date, there are some 24 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the Bahamas. 18 cases in New Providence, 5 in Grand Bahama, and 1 deceased from Bimini. The majority of the cases are stable, however, some are very ill.
The Minister of Health also urged residents to adhere to the 24-hour complete shutdown put in place by the Prime Minister. He emphasized that the only way to fight this deadly disease is compliance with orders issued by the government and the medical professionals. He says that the country is now experiencing its surge and that community spread is taking place.
There's no vaccine for this virus and no proven treatments. We have to put in place public health measures to protect you, to save lives. And our advice is summarized in 3 simple words. Stay at home. I'll say it again. Stay at home. Only go out for essential items or if you are an essential services worker during the prescribed times by the emergency orders.
He also emphasized that it is important for persons to utilize the COVID-19 hotline numbers if they believe they are experiencing symptoms. He says that persons should avoid healthcare facilities unless it is an emergency, as it is critical to protect healthcare workers as much as possible during this pandemic.
Of the 24 confirmed cases, 5 are healthcare workers. Additionally, more than 50 healthcare workers are currently in isolation or quarantine, having been taken out of the system. This is a grave concern that 21% of our cases are healthcare workers. This high percentage of exposure to our health workforce cannot continue, or we will find ourselves without enough workers, without enough skilled healthcare providers to wage this war on COVID-19.
Minister Sands noted that medical professionals as well as the government are doing their part to inform the public, but now it is up to residents to comply. He said the level of compliance over the next few weeks will be the difference between life and death.
Don't try to sneak out. Do not go and hang out and have a drink with your friends. Do not go to visit your family or your friends. Those decisions could spread the virus, and they could make you, your friends, or your family sick. Those decisions not to comply could lead to death.
He added that this is not a crisis unfolding on television around the world, but rather a virus that is here at home already claiming the lives of Bahamians. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Megan. Well, as COVID-19 cases continue to rise across the world, our nearby neighbor, the United States, is being impacted tremendously, as reports say that country now has the most reported cases worldwide. Tonight, our Italia Hall speaks with the Consul General for the Bahamas in New York, the epicenter of the deadly disease in the U.S., who shares what the situation is like there. He's also providing some advice for Bahamians living in the States.
The state of New York is said to have the highest number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in the United States. According to reports, people have been told to stay in their homes and to only go out for essential items. While the Bahamas consulate in New York has been closed since March 16th, Consul General Lawrence Cartwright says the entire state is on lockdown.
We are doing our best here to comply and to do our part to stop the spread of COVID-19. The goal, as you know, is to flatten the curve, and we haven't even started on that as yet. The curve still seems to be there. Cases are increasing every day. Deaths are on the increase. In the stores, they're practicing social distancing, and only place you can go right now here would be the food stores, the pharmacies. A few of the parks are still open for exercises, but basically the streets are the traffic is the best it's ever been for moving about. But it's like everywhere else. People are concerned, people are worried, people are upset, and people are frustrated, basically.
There are over 92,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the state and over 2,000 deaths. He is encouraging all Bahamians who are in the state to stay indoors.
Well, there are many Bahamians in New York. Our database shows well over 1,000 Bahamians. That includes families, some of which are just children of Bahamians living here in New York. The Bahamian American Association has been working with us and liaising with their members and other Bahamians who are not members to make sure that everybody knows exactly what's going on.
And there are some Bahamian college students who remained in New York as their schools did not close their doors right away.
And they're still on campus, they're doing fine. Other Bahamians who are shopping and traveling at the time that their borders were closed are here. We're working right now with 14 Bahamians, some of whom are students, some of whom are stranded. But everybody is well, nobody is in distress. And they want to get home, but so do we all. But we have to wait now until the borders are reopened and then make the move.
The Consul General says Bahamians who are in New York or the surrounding areas can call telephone number 212-421-6420 if they need assistance.
That goes directly to our emergency line. Consul Newbold and myself, we take turns. The emergency line is open 24/7. We take turns with it so that anyone who is calling would get through to us at any time. We ask them to visit our website, bahamasny.com, our Facebook page, or email us at consulate@bahamasny.com. To get any new information. But my message to all is the same as my other Bahamian colleagues in various jurisdictions: to stay safe, stay put, be smart, and adhere to social distancing protocols and national, federal, state, city orders. Stay informed about what is happening at home in the Bahamas and in your local communities. If we remain united, I tell you, we can flatten the curve.
He is also asking the entire country to pray for the Bahamians who are abroad during this difficult period. Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Well, as the number of COVID-19 cases in the country surge, the sister of a New Providence resident who had a close encounter with this deadly disease is sharing his story. Now, the sister, who does not want to be identified to protect her sibling, says while the ordeal was frightening, the family is grateful that their loved one survived.
He was in contact with somebody who tested positive. So once he started having little signs and symptoms, we were quite sure of what was going on with him. So the fever, the headaches, and stuff like that, the coughing and all of that. So after he told us of his symptoms and stuff, he was already quarantined in his home.
Now, she explains how her sibling was able to overcome this deadly virus by using what she says was heat therapy.
You mist your face with water, like cool water, room temperature water, and you on the stove you put a pot with hot water, and we did lemon, just the skin of the lemon, the skin of the orange, the onion. We didn't peel it, we just cut it in half in fours or whatever, and just put it in the water along with some garlic. And he just put a towel over his head, and as close as he possibly could get to the steam, just breathe it in. And we did it for like 15 minutes at a time. Then you get a little break, and then he'll do it again. Not too close to burn yourself, just as much heat as you take, but the key thing is as much heat as you can possibly stand, the better. And in a matter of a day or two, symptoms was gone, and he was feeling fine. And I am a strong believer. Well, actually, we proved that this heat therapy works. After that, no fever, no headaches, no coughing. All the bad feelings and everything was gone.
Now, she says although all of his symptoms are gone, her family and her sibling remain in quarantine at home. Now, we want to caution you that while this family is claiming that heat therapy has helped their loved one to overcome COVID-19, medical experts say this method has not been scientifically proven. Well, the Ministry of Transport and Local Government issuing a press statement addressing the United States Coast Guard Marine Safety Information Bulletin dated March 29, 2020, giving guidance to foreign passenger vessels located in the 7th District area of responsibility. The bulletin makes reference to Bahamas registered vessels in the context of limited medical facilities ashore in Miami and the vicinity. Megan Shepard reports.
The release noting that the Bahamas has had a long-standing and ongoing relationship with the U.S. Coast Guard based on mutual interest and respect. Each country is now confronting a unique challenge, that of dealing responsibly with a global pandemic, first and foremost protecting their populations, while doing their best to support those individuals, passengers, and crew sheltering in place on board ships. Now, the Bahamian flag represents the largest number of cruise ships of any registry in the world. Its maritime authority works with its cruise ship owners in relation to the safe operation of these ships and the health and well-being of their passengers and seafarers. And this nation has been responsive in enabling safe and responsible solutions within parameters for cruise ships in the course of this pandemic. The release adds that the cruise industry is facing an unprecedented crisis, and the Bahamas, facing the same global crisis, is doing what it can to provide support, including making intergovernmental contact where it could be helpful, devise safe methods of resupply for Bahamian flag cruise vessels that were running critically low on provisions, medical supplies, and medical personnel. The Bahamas has also given access to these sheltering vessels irrespective of country of registry, in the process accommodating ships of a number of flags in addition to its own. Noting that the country just recently endured Hurricane Dorian 6 short months ago, the minister thanks the United States for the tremendous generosity and kind assistance rendered during that catastrophic and challenging period. However, the release continues that as a result of Hurricane Dorian, the Bahamas is still functioning with limited capacity and capabilities, socially, economically, and financially. The statement emphasizes that the country has not been able to take people from ships ashore in the Bahamian population centers, as the Bahamas is a small island developing state with a national population in the 300,000. The statement adds that the country is proud of the medical care that it affords its people, but it is scaled to the population size. The minister says the system is not designed to deal with a massive influx of new COVID-19 patients from outside this country. He says the Bahamas has an excellent relationship with the United States and all of its agencies, including the U.S. Coast Guard and with other governments, consistent with all times assuring the safety of the Bahamian people. He says the country will continue to do what it can to support the individuals sheltering in place aboard cruise vessels in Bahamian waters. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Coming up, we will tell you about a new online shopping service in light of COVID-19. Stay with us.